Ta-da! I'm live. I'm here. Episode 116, September the 24th, year of our Lord 2025. Still got it going. 116 days of this non-stop. Every night. 200's coming up. And hopefully it coincides with the sale of the 1036 South Front Street. The old radio station property that is now no more. But I still have the fond memories of it and still like rock and roll. So I'm doing rock and roll stuff. Talking about music and that kind of thing. So climb aboard. Let's go for a ride. Let's learn about musical history. Free James Brown. We'll get to Free James Brown. Because you remember Free James Brown? I'll tell you why we say Free James Brown. Anyway, on this date, birthdays, Mr. Mel Taylor of the Ventures. Come on, you know the Ventures. Wipe Out. No. That one. Walk, Don't Run. Another one of their songs. I was listening to the Ventures. Because the Shadows were also a UK instrumental band. The Ventures were also an instrumental band, but they did have some lyrics, some songs, as opposed to the Shadows, who had none, which I had no idea. That was just kind of crazy that I figured that out because I listened to them. Anyway, also born on this day, 1941, Linda McCartney, Paul McCartney's first wife and collaborator in the group Wings. Linda is no longer with us. She left us in 1998. Oddly enough, also left us in 1998 and born on the same date is Phil Hartman. And he was Saturday Night Live. I guess he did a stint in The Simpsons in 1991. Phil Hartman was on a bunch. He was also in Pee-wee's Playhouse, and apparently he had some musical things. But that's interesting. They both were born the same day. They both died in the same year. Just coinky-dink. Now this one I just found to be odd. So that was sort of like a little strange coincidence there. I found 3 sets of those tonight. The next one was 1940, Barbara Bibbs, B-I-B-S, all but from the Angels. My boyfriend's back and you better do. Hey now, my boyfriend's back. Anyway, that song, okay? She was born on this day, September the 24th, okay? In 1940. Phyllis Jiggs Allbutt of the Angels, My Boyfriend Back, was born on this day in 1942. So the sisters have the same birthday, Bibbs and Jiggs, and they formed a band, the Angels, together. Fun? I thought so. Mark Sandman of Morphine, 1952, born on this day. And Peter Salzberg of The Verve, born on this day. Now, this one I also found to be another one of these little strange, weird coincidences. Born on this day in 1936 is Jim Henson, the guy who founded and made the Muppets, Sesame Street. You know, he made all the Muppets. He was the puppeteer, okay? Today's his birthday, September the 24th. Jim Henson we lost in 1990. But Steve Whitmer, born on this day, 1959, was Kermit the Frog. So the guy who made Kermit the Frog and the guy who played Kermit the Frog have a birthday on the same day. And again, he was Kermit the Frog from 1990 to 2016. And I think we talked about Steve Whitmer because he had a meltdown. Apparently he kind of lost it and headed on out. So he became, when Henson died in 1990, he became Kermit the Frog in 1990, the year Henson died. I just found that to be just odd. Just weird coincidences, that's all. Birth, deaths, coincidences. What can I tell you? Just other birthdays today. F. Scott Fitzgerald, the great Gatsby writer. I mean, come on. Who doesn't love the great Gatsby? I mean, right? So F. Scott, happy birthday to him. Um, Jackie Wright. No one knows who Jackie Wright is. Jackie Wright was the little Irish comedian on the Benny Hill show. He was the little short one that Benny Hill always slapped on his little bald head. That was Jackie Wright. Today is his birthday. He was an Irish comedian. Played alongside Benny Hill. If you don't remember Benny Hill, Google him. He was pretty funny. And then also just one of those things. Today is the birthday of the Ohio State University Heisman Trophy running back Eddie George, 52 today. I met Eddie George. I'm a fairly big guy. I'm 6'2", 200 plus pounds. I have a picture of me next to Eddie George. I'm dwarfed by Eddie George. He's a big ass man. I was like, hello, sir. You are. Anyway, happy birthday to Mr. Eddie George, 52 on this day. Not a lot of passings on this day, which is great. Buckwheat Zydeco, we lost in 2006. Now, Buckwheat Zydeco, you're like, huh? We actually played Buckwheat Zydeco on the radio station because it was kind of alternative, like just strange music when we were sort of having a transition back in the 90s when we had our PD, Tom Tuber, said, no more screaming guitars. We went fluffy, went sort of AAA. When we first started, we were kind of like really, CD101 at first, we were really heavy alternative. I mean, like the most alt rock you could imagine at the time. And then when we moved a little to this fluffier time, I always call it the fluffy time. And yes, we played Buckwheat Zydeco because that's when I got to meet Lou Reed, actually. But Tom Tuber said, there'll be no more screaming guitars. Focusing. Oh, Tom. We lost Tom Tuber. He was a PD at the radio station long ago. Pretty much most of the PDs have passed away at this point. It's not great. If you were a male PD, you didn't make it. We're literally the male program directors of the radio station are like the drummers for Spinal Tap. All of them, all the male PDs from the radio station are gone. They all died. I mean, okay, if the radio station ever comes back, don't be a program director if you're a male. Just telling you. There's your weird trivia fact for the night about the radio station. Okay, also, Neil Hamilton. Again, you don't know who the hell Neil Hamilton is. He was on the original Batman TV series in the 60s. He was Commissioner Gordon. He died on this day in 1984. Tommy Bond. Again, who the hell's Tommy Bond? He was Butch in The Little Rascals. He was, the bad guy. But he was also, I guess, in the Superman TV series. He pretty much looked like he did as an adult as he did as a kid. Kind of face looked like a fist. Could have been a hitman or something, But no, he was a character actor for The Little Rascals. And then on this day, we lost Dr. Seuss, who was an actual person. I mean, Dr. Seuss is a kind of a fun name, but he was a dude. He was a doctor. His last name was Seuss. So it was Dr. Seuss. Green Eggs and Ham, The Cat in the Hat, Oh, the Places You'll Go, The Lorax, Cat, Hat, in French, chat chapeau, in Spanish, it's el gato in a sombrero. Yes, I have all the Dr. Seuss books. My mom was a children's librarian, okay, for like 40 years. So what do you expect? Of course, I know all the damn kids' books. Jeez. Somebody has to have a job being a children's librarian, right? That was my mom's job. She was a children's librarian. 1952, KFC opens its first franchise in all places, Salt Lake City, Utah. Colonel Harlan Sanders sold his franchise to his friend, and he opened his first franchise location in good old Salt Lake City, Utah. Apparently there's Mormons wanted some KFC. I mean, why not, right? Who doesn't love a good KFC bucket? 1957, Elvis releases the single Jailhouse Rock. It was the song of the year in 1957. Also the same name for the movie Jailhouse Rock that became a hit. It topped the charts in both the US and the UK, as well as the movie. 1964, 60 Minutes premiered on this day. Oh, no, I'm sorry. That was 1968. 60 Minutes premiered on this day. 1964, The Munsters premiered on this day. Knew there was a premiere there. 1969, and again, I don't understand why these places happen sometimes, but 1969, the first Elvis convention ever happened in Cincinnati, Ohio. Okay, Cincinnati, Ohio, go Elvis. I guess approximately 2,500 people showed up for it. I mean, is it like the Vegas convention now? You know, hundreds of people dress up like Elvis? I don't know. I didn't do research. I ran out of time tonight. I was dilly-dallying. I was reading too much into like all these different stories and stuff. You know, sometimes you fall down the rabbit holes. I get interested in the stories. I'm reading them. I'm going to give the quick headlines, but I'm like, oh, but I want to read deeper and more and more and more and more. That was something sometimes I thought about when you would hear like the news of the weird. I was like, you know, man leaves child in car at strip club for 7 hours. Okay, but explain this to me. How do you, like, did he not remember? Like, what's the backstory on this? Is it the fourth time he did it? Anyway, 1976, Patty Hearst of the Hearst Empire, printing empire, is sentenced to 7 years in jail. We talked about Patty Hearst a while back because she was arrested for the bank robbery and everything else, the Palestinian Liberation Army, the PLA. But she was convicted and sentenced to 7 years in prison. She only spent 22 months in prison, and she was let out by Carter, and eventually she was pardoned by Clinton. 1977, The Love Boat premieres on TV. 1984, Paul McCartney releases No More Lonely Nights on Linda McCartney's birthday. Oh, how touching. Isn't that? I don't know if that's when they got married, but it was her birthday. So I think has to do something with the song. Maybe. I'm going to extrapolate. I'm going to guess. I'm going to connect. That's what I do. I make shit up. You know, why not? Everybody else seems to these days. So I'm going to do it too. And I'm going to enjoy it. 2014, the TV show Blackish premieres. I like that show. That was funny. 2024. Now, I read something today about Johnny Cash. So Johnny Cash supposedly is the one that when he was in the Air Force, he's the one who intercepted the communique that said that Stalin was dead, but it's disputed. And I don't know, there's some weird stuff that went on about that. But anyway, this is not disputed. Johnny Cash statue was dedicated in the U.S. Capitol on this day in 2024. So last year, there was a Johnny Cash statue dedicated in Washington, D.C., of all places, in Emancipation Hall. I guess it was to represent the state of Arkansas. But it's the first musician honored. So I guess if you go to Emancipation Hall in Washington, D.C., there is a statue of Johnny Cash along with all sorts of statesmen from the other states. Not bad. Johnny Cash, the man in black. You gotta love that one. I'll have to go do that someday. 1964, Ringo Starr formed the Brickley Building Company, Ltd. Now, I didn't dig fast enough on that one, but I can only imagine that it's Brickley Building Company, BBC. So he formed the BBC Limited. I'm unaware of what it means. I think it's just a play on words. So he created a company that's the BBC. Right? Does that make sense? Otherwise, I don't know why. Why would you do that? Just saying. 1966, the band The Association started their 3-week #1 U.S. chart stop with Cherish. Cherish. You've heard that song if you've listened to it. Again, if they're #1, you've heard them because they've been in movies and they show up in places. So that's why I kind of like seek out the ones that are the #1s and the one-hit wonders, because you've heard them. Unless you're 13 and you're not watching this anyway because you're like, who's this old dude? And we don't care. We don't know these bands. 1969, Deep Purple with lead singer who? David Coverdale from Whitesnake. Again, news to me the other night. Had no idea. I just didn't. Anyway, Deep Purple played with the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra in the Royal Albert Hall. No, I was going to make a joke about pronunciation of hard words. Royal Albert Hall in London. Later, it was recorded and made into a live album. Just going to let it go. Oh, there's the cricket. Do you hear it? I don't know if you can hear it or not. But yes, there's Mr. Cricket. He's back. Shut up. 1979. No, sorry. 1975, Rush released their third album, Caress of Steel. And I've told you plenty of times my Rush story of getting arrested on the way to a Rush concert. I'll recap it again at some point. But yes, one of my many times that I've been, I've butted heads with the police in my youth, my miscreant youth, as a rabble rouser on my way to see a Rush concert. 1975, the Eagles' sixth album, The Long Run, is released. They sold 9 million copies. It peaked at number 1 in the US, Canada, Australia, and Japan. The Grammy-winning single, Heartache Tonight, also featured on that album. Yeah, that was, again, one of those albums that just people have. If you sell 30 million copies or 9 million copies, there's probably someone you know that has that copy, I'm betting. If it's not yourself, if you're a vinyl collector, you probably have that in your stash of vinyl, or you know someone that has that in their stash of vinyl. 1983, ZZ Top. Now, wait, I'm going to do something here because, I pre-planned this, but there you go. So, ZZ Top released their 7th album, Eliminator. It actually went platinum today in 1983, meaning that they sold over 1 million copies, because that's what platinum means. Now, I just saw ZZ Top play at the See Here Now Festival on the 14th of September. Now, it's interesting because I was trying to see, I wonder what songs they played from that, if they played any songs from that album. Oddly enough, the set list they played was Got Me Under Pressure, I Thank You, which was a Sam and Dave cover, Give Me All Your Lovin', I'm Bad, I'm Nationwide, Sharp Dressed Man, Legs, and LaGrange. Okay? Now, from the Eliminator, Got Me Under Pressure. So the first song they played was the second song on the album. Give Me All Your Lovin' is the third song they played. It's the first song off that album. Sharp Dressed Man is the 5th song they played and the 3rd song that they played at the show. And then Legs is the first song on side B, and it's the 6th song they played. So they played, of the 7 songs that they played at See Here and Now, 4 of them came from their 1983 Eliminator LP. So you can tell exactly what audience they were playing for, apparently. They were shooting right at that demo there. It was definitely an older crowd, but they were going straight for the arrow. There's no doubt about it. They were just saying, you know what? We're going to go right at our fan base. We're not playing any new stuff. Similar to Blink-182. They did not play, hey, here's one of our new songs. No. They were just like, here's the hits. It's what you came for. It's why you paid the money. You have to respect that in bands sometimes, that they just, we have new stuff. If you want to go look for it, great. If not, here's the stuff you pay the money for, because this is what you want to hear. Oddly enough, the next thing on the list is also from 1983, and it's UB40, which went to number 1 in the UK on this day, and that was for their 4th album, Labor of Love. Now, again, I was like, okay, I just saw UB40 as well at See Here and Now Festival. Standing on the Beach, they played on the same stage. Now, UB40 on the Beach, I gotta say, that was probably, of the shows, of all the bands that were there, that one just fit so well. It was a sunny afternoon, it was hot, it was just like, oh yeah, little reggae, ocean waves are crashing to the right, bands playing, everyone's just kind of getting with the groove. I was like, man, I'm digging this. This was okay. I definitely, it was definitely the the way to see UB40. But anyway, so Labor of Love. Now, again, I was like, so Labor of Love, the set list for UB40 was Here I Am, Come and Take Me, which is an Al Green cover. The Way You Do the Things You Do is a Temptations cover. 1 in 10. Cherry Oh Baby, which is an Eric Donaldson cover. Johnny Be Good, which is the Slickers cover. Red Red Wine, which is a Neil Diamond cover. Kingston Town, which is a Lord Creator cover. And Can't Help Falling in Love, which is Elvis Presley cover. Okay, they did a lot of covers. They don't have a lot of original music apparently. But again, that's the set list that they did there. From the Labor of Love, they played, their first song was Cherry O Baby, which was the fourth song at the show. That's the first song from that LP. They also played Johnny Be Bad, Johnny Too Bad, which was the fifth song of the set list, and it's the fifth song on the album. And then they played Red Red Wine, which was the sixth song of the album and the sixth song at the show. So both those bands played from the 1983 release 3 songs and 4 songs. And again, that's 3 out of 8 and 4 out of 7 from their 1983 releases. So apparently both those bands, that was definitely a very curated, we are going right after this age group audience that's going to spend money, and they're here for bands that are going to bring and reminisce for them, which they hit right on the right bullseye, center dot. That's my take on it. That's my belief. If I'm wrong, tough. All right, back to that picture. See, you don't get to see the set lists because that's the picture. See, there, me, Heinz Verified. Remember Day Trippin', Cameo, right, YouTube, yeah, that stuff. Okay. 1983 also, Billy Joel's second album, his first number one single, or his number one single was released on this day, Tell Her About It. Not his first number one single, but it was a number one single on this day. Tell Her About It. Also 1983, Karma Chameleon by the Culture Club spends 6 weeks at number one in their single in the UK, and it's also number one in 13 other countries. Come, chameleon. Remember that one? Yes, of course you do, because again, it was a number one hit from 1983, the same time that this UB40 was released, as well as ZZ Top. So apparently this is just wheelhouse for old people. 1988, Guns N' Roses back for a third week at the number one with their debut album, Appetite for Destruction. Number one in US and the UK. Now, they sold 30 million copies. 30 million copies of Appetite for Destruction. Think about that. That's a lot of freaking albums. Okay, that's like 10% of the US population, okay? It was the best debut album of all time. How crazy is that? Guns N' Roses, again, sometimes for some of these bands, I'm just like, really? So Guns N' Roses, for a debut album, is the best-selling debut album of all time. That's the band. Guns N' Roses. Don't ask me. But I'm going to jump ahead because also on this day, Guns N' Roses in 1993, this was 1988, 1993, a few years later. Now, okay, pay attention to the dates, okay, because that was 1988. In 1993, Guns N' Roses' Steve Adler, who was one of the founding members, he sued the band and received a settlement of $2.5 million. Apparently, Adler left the band in 1990 and signed his rights away, but then came back and said, no, I was under great, I believe it said he claims that he was severely impaired and taken advantage of. So I don't know what severely impaired was. Was he hit by a bus? Was he wasted? What? But he basically stepped away and then came back and said, no, I didn't mean to do that. I did not mean to sign my rights away. I want my rights back. And apparently he got it back, and he got $2.5 million from the band and management because they must have said he was impaired, in fact, and got that money in his pocket. I wonder if he's still getting money today. Don't know. 1988, also, Bobby McFerrin. Remember that name, Bobby McFerrin? Don't worry. Be happy. It's the first time an a cappella singing group tops the Hot US 100. He also topped it in he was number one in the United States, Australia, Canada, and Iceland. Those Reykjaviks. Like, be happy. 1991, Red Hot Chili Peppers. 5th LP, Blood, Sugar, Sex, Magic. Only hits number 3, but has 5 hit singles on it. Not bad if you can get 5 out of an album. Not too shabby. 1994, Eric Clapton gets his first number 1 album in the UK as his 12th solo. So his 12th solo, but it's the first time he gets a number 1 in the UK. From the Cradle. He also gets number 1 in the US, Switzerland, and Australia. 2011, Ed Sheeran. 2011, Moves Like Jagger. Moves Like Jagger. Moves Like Jagger. Maroon 5 and Christina Aguilera. 2015, Stereophonics, 6th number 1 album, UK, Keep the Village Alive is released. 2015, Justin Bieber. 2012, Mumford & Sons' second album, Babel, debuted at number 1 in the UK and the US. It's the fastest selling album of 2012 in the UK, nominated for Best Album for the Brit Awards as well as the Grammys. US won. They got a Grammy, not the Brit Award. Now see, today I see the timer and it's counting down. See, it only gives me 30 seconds. That's why I probably fail at this sometimes. So what I'm going to do is I'll hit that camera and I will move over here. I will push the button. It'll reset. It'll reset. It'll reset. And all's right with the world. Okay, now I can go back to that. Wrong button. Pilot error. 2003, Dave Matthews and band play a concert in New York City's Central Park. There is estimated to be 100,000 people in attendance. It is the largest crowd to date that Dave Matthews has played in front of. And it was later then released as a live album and subsequently recorded that day and released as a live album. Dave Matthews in Central Park, I would imagine what it's called. I don't know. I didn't look that up because I didn't really care that much. I've met Dave Matthews. I have a picture of it somewhere. Very young Dave Matthews and myself when he played the Vets Memorial Coliseum before they tore it down, before I made it into a bar. Well, the stage. Which it's going to be an online auction here before too long. So I'll put the details up. But yes, everything in the building is going to get auctioned off that's left. So everything, like pieces of the stage and the bar and the walls and whatever the hell you want. You want light fixtures? Don't care. I'm selling it all because they're going to tear the building down. Blink, blink. 2000, Madonna. 1997. Okay, this is yikes. A little crazy. So apparently a crazy person blamed Pearl Jam's video Jeremy and used it as a defense for a shooting spree that he went on in Washington. I don't need to get into the details, but yeah, his defense was, Jeremy made me do it. Like, really? Bro. Yeah, go to jail. Go directly to jail. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Yeesh. 1995, the band The Charlatans were arrested by 24 armed police at a flight that landed in the U.S. from London. Apparently, they were accused of trying to disrupt the plane's flight path. I mean, whoa. Passengers complained of their drunkenness, spitting, interfering with the television sets, and interfering with the flight crew. What the hell, man? Okay. I mean, that was 1995, so clearly it wasn't as deeply frowned upon as it is now, after 9/11. But still, I mean, okay. What do they think? Were there Led Zeppelin at the Riot House on Sunset Strip or something? I mean, jeez. Let's keep it together here, especially if we're flying there, band dudes. We already talked about the Guns N' Roses. 1991, Nirvana. Second album, Nevermind. It's released on this day, and it's released to uncritical acclaim. It's released and it charts at number 144 on the Billboard charts. 144. Come on, that's just, people weren't excited about it. Anyway, that was what it was in week one, number 144. By January of 1992, it was number one. It sold 30 million copies, and basically it has spawned the water baby lawsuit. Apparently, the cover was inspired when Grohl and Cobain were watching a special on water babies, and that's where they got the idea from the album cover. And remember, that guy just tried to sue them like 30-something years later because he was saying, I was harmed by my baby shot being there, and it's child pornography, and it's on a... Bro, really? Come on. You just be happy that, you're there. And it's just a little weird because you're a little winky. I mean, you're a baby. Let it go. Go get famous. Go sign albums. Look, it's me. I mean, sell them online. People will buy them. What the hell? 1990, AC/DC releases their 11th album, The Razor's Edge. It goes to number 2 in the US and number 4 in the UK. Now, I ran out of time. There was other things I saw. There was a Jimi Hendrix thing and something else, and there was some other things, but I ran out of time. Like I said, I fell too deeply into a couple of the rabbit holes. Sometimes I see these stories and I just read them, and I just, next thing you know, I'm like, oh, that was 10 minutes, and I wrote literally 4 words. So I will end on the last one is 1988, Mr. James Brown. He leads police on an hour-long 2-state car chase. Starting in Augusta, Georgia. He is subsequently arrested, charged, and convicted with, ready for this one, guns, fleeing the police, and, wait, shocking, under the influence of drugs. Remember, kids, don't do drugs. Free James Brown. Free James Brown. Oh, James Brown, what are you doing? What were you doing, man? Come on. I mean, I'm stoned. I've got a gun. I'm going to run from the police. That will make it all better. Because I'm free. I'm James Brown. It's exhausting sometimes. People be cray. That's all. Okay? That's all I can tell you. What do you want from me? Hey, I went another day without a break-in today. Yes. So excited. Well, my day is capped off by the highlight of driving down to the old radio station building and finding it not broken into. That's my highlight. Oh, how far the mighty have fallen. At least I have a good attitude, or at least I pretend to, and that's all you get to see. You see the good attitude. Anyway, I have nothing else. I have no diatribes that I'm going to just segue onto because I just didn't feel like it tonight. I slept like crap last night. I'm not sure why, but I think I got about 3 hours of sleep. Honestly, like 3 hours sleep. I could not get to sleep, and I tossed and turned till like 3 o'clock in the morning, and I woke up at like 6:30 or 7. I was like, damn it. So I have no idea. No idea why my sleep patterns are so disrupted at the moment. But we'll get it figured out, and this too shall pass. Anyway, appreciate for being here. Hopefully you learned something new and exciting, that David Coverdale was the lead singer of Deep Purple. I learned that. That is something completely new to me. Other things I'm like, oh, okay, but that's one that's going to be with me for a minute. Did not know that at all. So thank you so much. Appreciate you for being here. We'll do this all again tomorrow, but slightly different. I'm feeling that I'm going to change something down here. I'm not sure what. Maybe I'll clean it. I was reading something today about that we have approximately 300,000. The average household has 300,000 items in their house. Yeah, I probably have that in this room. Items. That's a lot. We wear 22% of our clothes. I wear the same 15 t-shirts every day. Think about that. I have a 2-week cycle that I go through because I wear my Randsanity shirts every single day. I have 15 of them. So it means I wash them and that these are in a 2-week cycle. I have to buy more shirts. And I have to get the damn shop open because my trademark's going to expire in like a week, not even. So if I don't do it, I'm going to be screwed. So I have to spend the time and do it. Anyway, appreciate you. Thank you so much. We'll do this all again, but completely different at some point in the not-so-distant future. Maybe tomorrow. I'll look for you then. Fade to black. Let's see. What am I doing here? What am I doing? Oh, right. I have to end the stream. It'll just go on and on and on.